No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Aries Spears is in the building.
I gotta ask you two questions off the
See,
gate.
I knew that we were going in hot with this.
And I'm a comic, so I gotta do it. What was you thinking letting that your wife? That is as big as a kayak.
I have no regrets.
None.
Nah. Best thing I ever did.
Listen, man. Well,
it breathed new life into me. That
second, Jesus Christ. Second
See,
question.
how do you make jokes when this is where I'm coming from?
But this is not surprising to me, and let me tell you why. I don't.
You're white.
Well,
you're gonna hit me with a race card.
I have to.
I watched your comedy. I know that this is where you go.
Vlad?
I did see you on Vlad, but I also
said this is some goofy white boy.
I watched a long thing. It was like a 3-hour Aries Spears upload to YouTube with like millions of views, and it's like it's weird because it's like the whole night. It's like a 3-hour video, and if you watch it long enough, you start to hear the same jokes multiple times.
Yeah, Irvine. Yeah.
I was kind of like they should have edited that out, but that's all right. But either way, I was watching it, and your default is to say to women, "Do you f black guys?"
That's one of
That is deeply held in your DNA as a comedian. That's just like the easiest go-to.
It's not an easy go-to. We got to get y'all back.
It gets the ball rolling.
No, we got to get y'all back for slavery. A lot of got hung from trees from white women, so we got to give them just on principle.
You got to make them at least think about it.
Yes, my second question was, why didn't you call me to do that?
Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yeah.
Have you seen Jason Luv?
Yeah.
You don't see too stark of a difference?
Yeah, I'm a sexy motherfucker. And Jason seems a little bit retarded.
Really?
Yeah, he seems a little mentally off.
What's leading you to think that?
He just got goofy toddler energy. For a grown ass man, he got goofy kid energy. That's probably why it didn't bother you.
I don't want to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
He wrote a book. I haven't read it. I probably should. I probably should.
Dr. Seuss type big lettering.
All I can see is that there's a pile of on the cover, and it's something about Louisiana, but Louisiana is spelled wrong.
I'm telling you, man, it's something real in his demeanor. Goofy, man. Like this eats Happy Meals.
I feel for him right now. As much as I beefed with him, I feel bad for him right now because you're doing him hardcore right there. Coming from a man's intelligence.
My assessment is off.
I don't think he gives off hard energy, if that's what you're saying.
I'm being funny, but
okay.
But come on, he a little goofy.
I will say that is almost like sports in the sense that you can be really elite at it without necessarily
being intelligent,
needing to be super intelligent.
Let me tell you, I hosted the AVNs twice. Truer words were never spoken. The fact that I don't know if I said this to you I think I may have said this last time I was there. One of the categories was Black Lives Matter. Like, come on, man. And they want to be taken seriously. Yeah. It's their Oscars. The women got on dresses, elegant dresses. Dudes got on suits and tuxes. It's like, come on, man. You took 18 shots to the face at once.
Yeah, I mean, I am in the industry at this point.
What capacity? Because this is something me and Vlad argued about. You're not an official performer, though.
I wouldn't say I'm an official performer because I only shoot for me and my girl's company / her OnlyFans. So it's not like I'm really trying to be like a porn celebrity or whatever. But I'm in the game. We won Podcast of the Year last year at the AVN Awards.
Is that right?
Yes, which you were not announcing, and Matt Rife was.
Hosted, yeah.
Who has me blocked on Instagram.
But you got to understand something. Prior to my second time doing it, they had a strong rule that they don't bring the same host back twice. Never do they do that.
Really?
And they did it for me.
Really?
Because your boy brought it.
So because you were clapping cheeks backstage.
No, and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, man. That doesn't do anything for me.
The porn stars.
Yeah, that whole scene.
The vibe doesn't.
I some porn stars. I know some porn stars. But that whole isn't like there's no tomorrow because it's.
You don't like.
Nah.
What is it about that you don't like?
No, I'm saying over the fact that it's porn stars.
Okay.
The allure of doesn't do it for me like that.
I was always trying to stars even before I got really in the game.
At the end of the day, I mean, there's some street that'll do what a star will do.
Right.
So the allure that there's this, thing about stars, I think that's overly hyped.
Okay. So do you actually think I'm crazy for letting my girl?
You're a white boy. You did white boy.
I'm
I say
interested.
this in my stand-up, man. I've had white guys who will come up to me after a show.
Put me in your next special.
You got it.
Yes.
And they go, dude, my girl loves you. You should f her.
Right.
You can't even compliment a black man's woman respectfully to him. Hey, man, your girl is gorgeous. All right, thank you, man. Go ahead with that shit, though.
Right.
We don't play them games, man.
In the porn world, that's kind of normal. Like, I had a couple guys come up to me this year at the AVN Awards and say, like, it's my dream for my wife to fuck you.
And they were all white.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. In the defense rests, Your Honor.
Although I do know some black porn boyfriends in the sense that they're the dude who hangs out and smokes backwoods while his
And they're regular
wifey is
boyfriends.
off
They're not
getting
in the
fucked.
porn game.
They're just, yeah. Or they might be, getting head on OnlyFans and on OnlyFans and shit, but they're not, like, trying to be porn stars.
Right.
So there is black guys doing it.
Yeah, there's exceptions to the rule, but the rule is not the exception's not the rule.
Do you think it's going to destroy my relationship
No.
in the long run?
Man, y'all two white people. Y'all get down like that.
She's Armenian.
Man, that's close enough.
It is. For black people, at least, it's like it might as well be the same
If her name don't
thing.
end in Isha,
Right.
she's white.
Okay. I got it. So how's life these days?
It's still a 15-round fight.
Yeah? You're still in there?
I'm still in there. As long as I answer the bell, I don't give a
Right.
sometimes you got to cover up and take the rib shots. And this is where all the 5150 comments come in.
You got 5150'd?
That situation with Corey Holcomb at the radio station.
Wait, what happened? How the did I miss this?
It's some dude. I was fucking drunk off Tanqueray, I think.
So you're really out here still having fun?
Yes, absolutely.
Getting drunk randomly in the middle of the day?
No, I'm trying to clean up a lot.
Okay.
But I was on one that night because I thought I was amongst cool people, and I didn't know the dude when it popped off, but, I figure if you're around a bunch of comedians, breaking balls is what we do.
Uh-huh.
So why would you let anything bother you? But, I'm really good at breaking balls. So I guess I touched a nerve, and he decided to swing on me, and I had my Floyd Mayweather defense popping off. Most of his punches, pretty much all of them missed. But, that's something that people still bring up to this day.
Okay. What year are we talking with that?
I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. And this is still had a very big impact on your life?
No, I mean it's all the Corey Holcomb and his legion of double fisters that love to say this.
Uh-huh.
You know.
And they're having a big impact on your life, or are you just sort of reveling in it?
No, it's all at this point it's tongue in cheek to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. So you're in good health?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of comics are working on it.
We are, but I come from bad stock. My mother's from Mississippi, my father's from Tennessee, so I grew up with salt and grease relevant in our residence.
So have you had to clean the diet up a bit, or are you still on it?
I'm on it, and I'm trying to work out more. I don't know why I wore this hot ass sweatshirt. I didn't want to wear the T-shirt that I was gonna wear because I know I wore that T-shirt on the last time I was here, so I wanted to kind of come up with a different look.
It was the same T-shirt.
Yes, I got like 50 of them.
I feel like the last time we did an interview was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but I got like 50 of these.
It's just the same shirt over and over?
Same fucking shirt.
That would actually be fucking badass if you had the same shirt on
Yes.
multiple interviews in a row, but like many years apart.
Yes. Dude, I'm 48 and really don't care too much about what people think. So when people go, man, that motherfucker look like he don't bathe because he got on the same shirt. It's like, I smell wonderful, nigga. But, I like being comfortable.
Well, imagine being me where I really like don't bathe as often as I probably should.
Is that the truth, what you're telling me right now?
Yeah, like I'll gladly go like Saturday and Sunday without taking a shower.
Well, historically, white people, y'all was always a little not great with hygiene. The Moors taught y'all how to bathe and taught y'all about cleanliness.
Who told you that?
That's historical. Look it up.
I don't know
The
how.
Moors in Africa showed y'all soap.
You think if I search, did the Moors teach the white people to bathe?
Yes, cleanliness.
I'm sure people figured out how to bathe all over the world in all different ways.
No.
Just saying, there's just one timeline.
I did some research in the colonial days. White folks stunk, man. Rotted teeth, shitting in holes in the ground.
You ever feel like you might be a little racist?
Not at all, because history tells the truth.
Do you think do you ever worry?
I know that's hard to hear.
Let's stir the pot. Stir the pot. Do you ever feel like it might be a little bit too normalized for people to shit on white people in public realms, social media, podcasts, etc.
Because we got a lot of catching up to do.
So you feel like you're still kind of on a vengeance campaign?
We haven't received reparations. We never got our 40 acres and a mule.
Are you optimistic about that?
No, because this is America. We have to win in other ways. You know?
Like just kind of telling white people to fuck off?
That or fucking white women.
Or fighting on a boat? Like fighting over a boat?
I'm not even that familiar with that story.
You haven't seen it?
I'm hearing of it, but I'm not too familiar with it.
Oh, should we
Bunch of black people beat up some white people?
Should we play the whole thing in its entirety and let him witness it?
Give me the Cliff Notes. Niggas was up to no good?
It's kind of like so good that you really want to see it.
All right.
We could blur it for the people at home, but it's like the closest thing to like a real wrestling match that you're ever going to see.
Like some WWF chaos and anarchy?
River fight.
You should have just typed in niggas and water. It came up.
There's one video and one video only. See, I need to actually find like. See, I trust TMZ. TMZ will have the full thing, right?
I saw that part.
This part at the beginning. So basically, this is a black security guard, and he was unhitching a boat that had been illegally like hitched to that boat. Like they weren't supposed to be putting.
He's in the right.
And then for some reason, these dudes decide to go all out, jumping the out of him.
Oh, I can already tell this was justified. A bunch of hyenas on one lion, and then the pride shows up. Oh, I love it. And that shows we're not scared of water.
This is a much talked about moment. Is this young black kid?
Yeah, because the stereotype is we can't swim.
He swims up and immediately gets into the melee.
My Denzel Training Day voice, my nigga.
They were already talking about giving him a scholarship to college and shit because of this.
DMX's song should be playing in the background here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. That's what riders go. Stop. Drop. Shut them down. Open up shop.
We got action, bro.
Uh-huh. I love it.
We got action.
I love it.
Wait, but we should, because there's a part 2 that's just as good right here.
These white folks jumped on these black men that work security. We trying to get on the sipping cycle, the Marriott trying to come through. And the man was telling them to move their boat because the Marriott couldn't dock so the folks could get off. And everybody on the sipping cycle, we just waiting. Why these folks that swung on and jumped on this black man, baby? The crew member that jumped off the Marriott, baby. They whooping ass, baby. Now come up out that boat, baby. They ready to move some. They ready to move some. Yeah.
Look at the way they're running up.
I love it. I wish black people as a whole was more unified like this.
Beating this motherfucker up. Pull him off his boat at some point here. Or I think he tries to run.
They scared. Look at them. They scared. Woo! Beat their ass.
It's crazy how this thing has really captivated the nation.
Yeah.
Woo! That what you get. That what you get. That what you get. Oh, tie her ass up. Ooh, she whooping her ass. She better put her in the wall.
Oh.
In the wall.
You keep noticing new things every time you see it, you know?
Ass up. Cause y'all were wrong. Do some.
Look at this white dude getting his ass kicked now.
Oh, now the cops show up, but there's 2 black cops.
And the cops are kind of like just chilling and letting things proceed up until, I'm not sure if this video has it, but there's like somebody gets hit in the head with a chair. That's when the cops really decide that they have to do something. All right.
They knew they was wrong.
What do you think?
They jump in the water. I love niggas that can't read. They're the best fighters. If I'm gonna get some backup, give me some niggas that cannot read.
When you watch that, how do you view it? As an epic racial struggle?
Again, I didn't know what it was. All I saw was the one-on-one action in the beginning, but I didn't really know the depths of what it was. But now that I've seen it, and now that I've got some context on it, the black guy was in the right doing his job.
Right.
the white guys decided to act funny and didn't know that that motherfucker had a pride with him. And I love it because it wasn't like it was his cousins or his kinfolk. It was just black folks that saw a black man getting beat and decided to help.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to have really found this to be like the most motivational thing possible.
I'm telling you, I wish black people could stick together like that in all aspects of life.
No, yeah, it's definitely impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, so you your I don't know if we should say arch nemesis, Lizzo. She's found herself in a little bit of hot water.
I was grinning like what's the cat from Alice in Wonderland?
The Cheshire Cat.
I was from temple to temple, baby. Like Magic Johnson just closed a business deal.
Yeah. So basically,
all fucking teeth, baby.
Your static with her comes from the fact that
first of all, I never had any static with her.
Okay, but so
I was being a comic doing what comedians do in an interview. Can you imagine that we live in an age now where if you interview a comic and he does what comics do, it's all of a sudden fodder for disgrace or cancellation.
Yeah, like
I
literally,
was doing what comics do, man.
like stand-up will be quoted and used against you as if it was you speaking in the most serious terms possible.
I was being funny. Whether or not you thought it was funny, that's subjective.
Right. But what was it, an interview you were doing where somebody asked you about
dialogue,
Lizzo?
Yeah, they
and,
asked me.
And all you did was you said that, you support her, you like her, she's great.
I recognize the talent.
But that you also thought that she was playing with fire by sort of promoting a way of life that is clearly pretty dangerous.
Yes, queen. Like the black girl. And listen, I get the black female mantra. Yes, queen. Yes, slay, girl, slay. Your confidence. I get it because this country has always gone out of its way to make black women, from a beauty standpoint, feel less than. They ridicule black women for their facial and physical features, which are the same facial and physical features that a lot of non-black women are purchasing today. Black women have always been the epitome of slander and ridicule. When in actuality, physically, black women are some of the most copied women and most sexy, baddest bitches on the planet.
I agree.
So, but my point is, while we respect and they wanna celebrate Lizzo's confidence, which is admirable and commendable, the silence in regards to the truth can be fucking dangerous. I have type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, take metformin, and trying to clean my shit up. So yeah, if it's the pot calling the kettle black, so be it. But again, I'm not a politician and I'm not a scholar. I'm a fucking comedian. So when you ask me a question, if you throw me the alley-oop, I'm a shack that shit.
Right. But have you actually experienced any kind of hardships in your career as a result of those comments, or was that just the sort of standard people talk shit about you for a day or two on Twitter and then everybody forgets about it type thing?
Again, we live in an age where, you're not allowed to be opinionated. And again, even if you do it through what you feel is supposed to be humor, that's the subjective part. Some may find it funny, some may not. But, when I said what I said, it was like Mel Gibson and Braveheart. Are you ready for a war? Now here come all the big bitches and all the other women coming over the hill in force.
So then she recently was on the receiving end of this lawsuit from some of her ex-dancers.
Said something about she wanted some of her dancers to eat a banana out of a vagina.
In the strip club. And this is the person telling you to fuck yourself.
For body shaming. Ain't life a motherfucker.
Do you tend to just, have you actually looked into it in any depth, or have you just like kind of heard about it?
Hey man, I heard about it, but that was enough for me.
You don't want to revel in her
But
pain
listen,
too much?
I put out a post where it was a split screen. On one side was her picture and the accusation, and on the other side was just me simply looking in the camera, slowly smoking a cigar and smiling. I have to say a motherfucking thing. The moment spoke for itself.
Right. But do you, okay.
And listen, let's be clear here. Women fat shame men all the time. Countless times the jokes about Biggie and Rick Ross and DJ Khaled. But why is it that women somehow seem to be off limits but scream equality? If you want equality, you know what I mean? Like Denzel said, you pray for the rain, you got to deal with the mud too.
I mean, yeah, the way it should be is that you should be able to be on the receiving end of jokes, but then also your, personhood should not be questioned just by virtue of you being overweight. Like you're
Educate
still a good,
me when you say okay.
like you who you are as a human being. It shouldn't just be like considered automatic that you're a bad or less than person as a
Not at
result
all.
of you being
Not at
overweight. But
The
it
joke's
also
gonna be what they gonna be.
yeah, but it also has to be acknowledged that if I weighed 50 pounds more, my life would be significantly worse in a whole variety of ways, not the least of which would be me being unattractive or less attractive. But I mean, if I lose another 30 pounds, like I've done it. I've lost large amounts of weight, and it has got to be one of the best things that I could possibly do for my own personal happiness and comfort and, you know, just everything. If I lose 20 pounds, like everything exercise-wise or just life-wise feels better. My back pain gets worse as I gain weight and stuff. And in the search of making everybody feel good, we've kind of landed on this weird new world where you have to almost act like everything is equal.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we need to knock this horse shit off. You know, I recently I forget who the basketball player was. It might have been Brittany Griner, who was talking about how come the women in the WNBA don't get paid as much as the men, and they want to label it sexism and inequality, and it's like that. It's got nothing to do with sexism or inequality. Your product stinks.
Nobody wants to watch it.
You've got inferior cocaine.
Yeah.
You know, the NBA is 100% un-Bolivian cut yayo.
Right.
And their shit has got baking powder. It's been stepped on. It's like physically, they just can't do what the men do. And it's and the bottom line is it's a business. And if you could put the asses in the seats, sell the merchandise, validate the money made in the TV contracts, you know, you'd get that same money.
Right.
But the product is not as fun. And I always say, look, man, who's the woman that passes like Magic Johnson? Who's the chick in the WNBA that shoots like Steph Curry, flies through the air like Jordan, crosses and breaks ankles like Allen Iverson, dominates the paint like Shaq? Who's the women that do that?
It's easy to see why we get offended by it, because if you can't fill up rooms as a comic, then you're not going to make too much money. And if you can fill up 5,000, 10,000 person venues, you're going to make a shitload of money. If I can't get any views on my podcast, I'm not going to make any money this month on YouTube. I'm not going to get any sponsors, etc. We're used to having to be judged by the actual outcome or the output that we bring into the world. Whereas when you hear a lot of these female athletes talk about how much they should be getting paid, it seems like they just have no connection to the actual dollars that are being brought in, which we understand to be the defining factor of how much you are going to get paid.
They're a losing business financially.
Yeah.
And even when I remember I saw Shaq on Drink Champs, and he said, I know how to solve the problem. Just lower the rim just a little bit. And they get offended by that. The idea of lowering the rim as though they're somewhat inferior. And listen, this, and you just said it a second ago, this thing where we want to play this, we're all equal, but in reality we know we're not. It's like, look, men and women biologically, we're built different. There are certain things that women just will not be as good at as men, and vice versa. And that's okay. That's okay. Why do we have to force this shit? You know what's something that women do that bother the shit out of me? When I go meet, like I'll go to do press for whatever city I'm in for the show. So I'll go into the local news station, and you know, whoever this broad is that's got a top tier position, when she goes to shake my hand, she's purposely trying to crush every bone in my hand to prove to me I have a firm handshake just like a man, therefore I'm to be respected as such. Say, bitch, you ain't got to try to break my hand to get me to respect you. Act accordingly. Show me you're intelligent. You know, just do your job. But for you trying to show me through strength, knowing that if I wanted to, I could suplex the shit out of you from the handshake position. So knock it off. But, you know, I don't think that there's anything wrong in being honest about who we are and how we are made. It's nature's design.
At some point, I'm going to have to tell my daughter that she's just not going to be as good at basketball as the boys.
And that's not
that
to
are
say
the
she
same
can't
age as
play
her.
basketball.
Right. It's just the reality of it.
Yeah, that's just the reality, man.
And you have to be able to explain that to somebody, like, you know, without having it be considered hateful or mean.
We can't make cookies as good as women.
The hospitality industry, nursing, it's dominated by women.
I know the cooking field is dominated by men, even though the stereotype is that women, you know, they're in the kitchen, they belong in the kitchen. But the biggest, the most popular and the most successful chefs are men.
I play poker, which is a, you know, it's not a physical game, but it's a game that's like it clearly rewards people who are willing to like really put in the work of like, you know, studying and understanding the math and a lot of these situations and stuff. And as a result, poker's like 95% men, and you know, it's slim pickings when it comes to women that can be considered really like elite.
Well,
because women I don't think gravitate towards that sort of like obsessive approach towards this sort of like nerdy pastime, you know?
Well, I would attribute that more to just a lack of interest rather than a lack of intellect.
Right.
Because a woman, certainly from an intellectual standpoint, has the capability to crunch numbers and do those things.
It just seems like they don't really want to on average,
right,
you know?
That falls more about into interest or lack thereof rather than intellect.
Yeah.
Whereas with sports, we're just bigger, stronger, faster.
Right.
That's how we're built. That's just biologically what it is.
I saw Lance Armstrong came out in support of keeping trans women out of women's sporting events.
Here.
I completely agree. When I read the quote tweets on his tweet about it, you would have thought that he was a fucking Klansman and that he was, you know, had just written a short paragraph about the inferiority of all other races. Like this, like to me, it was such a banal statement, such a basic acknowledgement of how the average American feels about trans women and women's sports. And people were treating him like he was Adolf fucking Hitler.
Listen,
it was mind blowing to me.
I am not a Trump fan at all.
Same.
But when he said what he said about one of his promises was to keep trans men out of women's sports, I fucking said, all right, I like this motherfucker for that. Listen, man, love is love. People should have the right to be who they want to be and be comfortable in whatever skin or facet they want to be in. But I think that there are certain things like that is absurd. You know, you're going to break records and, you know, because you decided you want to be in another skin or another, you want to approach, you know, you want to be whoever you want to be in a different way, that's fine. But to somehow, I don't know, discredit women and to do that, I just think it's fucking crazy.
Is there any small part of you that wants to have sex with a trans woman?
No, and I'll say it 50 more times.
You get asked this a lot?
No.
I thought I was going to be the first one asking you
I
this.
wouldn't want to do that no more than I would want another dude to fuck my woman.
Well, luckily that's not an option.
Never.
You have a woman?
Yes.
Of how many years?
12, maybe 12.
12 years.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going.
It's going.
It's going.
It's a rocky boat?
At times, but what relationship isn't?
Well,
you know?
I
don't think there's a such thing as perfection.
I let this big ass
goes.
I let this big ass dude fuck my wife.
Because you white dude, y'all
smooth sailing ever since.
I'm telling you, dude, y'all got a funny gene, man. Like y'all like I like this show Ridiculousness on MTV.
I love that you just told me that you like the most normie fucking show that it's like the only show on MTV.
But my point is, you gonna see 99.9% of the shit you see on there is shit white boys do.
Right.
Black people don't do some of the shit y'all do. They had one episode where they showed 4 different clips of dudes just taking a shit in public. Like one dude was in his driveway, he scored a layup, and his reward was to go in the camera, pull his pants down, and shit on his driveway. Niggas don't do doo-doo.
Well, I used to live right near Skid Row.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of black
homeless
men shitting outdoors.
Homeless.
They were homeless.
Homeless. That's different.
Yeah.
No black man shits on the sidewalk if he has a choice.
Why do you like you have to go all the way back to like the Jackass era in order to find white people who are really doing this with any sort of regularity?
Do this today.
We do?
Yes, y'all are wild. Y'all are wild, man. That's because y'all never had boundaries. From slavery to black parenting. Black people are used to being told no, you can't. We stay within boundaries. White people, y'all don't get told no. The idea of being told no to y'all is insane.
Oh, I've been
y'all
told
do
no.
it. Nah, come on. Y'all do whatever the fuck y'all want to do. And the idea of being told no offends you.
Within reason.
Most of the people upset about having to wear masks weren't black.
Black people were not wearing masks. Black people were not fucking with that
Come
shit.
on, man. When it was, we're not talking about the fucking vaccine. That's different. We're talking about when it was mandatory. You couldn't fly. You couldn't go into public places. It was mandatory. It was law.
When the when shit was locked down, all the black people that I knew were still going to these fucking underground nightclubs and shit. Not all of them, but the only people I knew who were going to these underground nightclubs and shit were black people.
What word is associated with underground? Illegal.
Illegal.
Niggas
well, because you couldn't throw a real
we
club
do
night
illegal shit like y'all do wild shit.
So what do you attribute
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Have I seen black women do this? Yes. But for every one black woman that does it, 99%, 9% of the time it's white women. White women love to walk on the concrete with their bare feet and get the bottoms of their feet dirty after the clubs. I've seen black women do it. But listen, white tigers exist.
Right.
So there's exceptions to the rule, but that's not the rule.
Do you think that that's inappropriate for women to do that?
That's one of my pet peeves. I don't give a fuck how fine you are. You could be Rihanna, Beyonce. You're not climbing into my Cadillac truck that's always clean and fresh with the bottoms of your feet dirty.
Can I tell you something? Every girl in porn at some point learns the important lesson, which is that you better clean your fucking feet. Because at some point, every hot girl is going to take a photo without realizing their feet are dirty from walking around the house barefoot, and they're going to get called out for it by the people.
But 25 different semens on her face is great.
No, that's cool, yeah. You know, I wanted to tell you this. I did my first orgy the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You and how many girls?
It was me, 3 other dudes, and then I think like 6 girls.
Something else I couldn't do.
You couldn't do that.
Listen, I don't do buddy cop movies.
You want to see a screenshot from it? What do you think of that?
Oh, that's just, Jesus.
A lot of people think it's kind of gay that I'm like making eye contact with the one black dude.
It absolutely is.
What do you think of that?
Dude, I don't do buddy cop movies. My dick is the only star in the movie.
You couldn't do that?
One cop, that's it.
There were some weird things about it when I actually was doing it.
Yeah, I just, you know, I don't want to be in a room with other meat.
It's kind of weird when you like sit your ass down on the couch to fuck, and then there's a bit of sweat and like fluid that's kind of already on the couch.
Oof.
Kind of takes away from the whole.
Yeah, I'm real.
Whatever I'm trying to achieve.
I'm real personal and private with intimacy.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're not one of these comics getting road ass?
Road ass?
Yeah.
Like groupies and shit?
Yeah, yeah.
Once upon a time.
It doesn't appeal to you anymore? Or
I'm
you're locked down in a relationship?
I'm older now, man. That too, but I'm older now. I you know, sometimes a thrill for me is knowing that when the show is over, I know the late night spot to go and get a cheeseburger.
Ooh.
Rather than, you know,
some
ass.
But think about that. Think about how much you've lost. You can't go fuck groupies anymore, and you can't eat a cheeseburger.
Well, I can do whatever I want.
Right, but you're going to suffer. Your doctor's going to be upset.
Moderation.
Yeah. But late night cheeseburger is probably not what they're going to suggest. 48.
48.
A looming 50.
Looming.
How you feeling about that?
As long as I, you know, got things around me that still allow me freedom to do what I want, I'm cool with it, you know? I haven't worked a regular 9-to-5, dude, since I was 13. You know, my last job was stocking shelves at Pathmark in New Jersey. So from the age of 14 till today, I've done one thing, that's stand-up and entertainment. You know, I haven't had a boss that I've had to answer to or clock to punch since I was 13, you know? So as long as I can continue to enjoy my freedom and my space on my terms, I'm good.
It's weird because when you think about like your early 20s and shit, your career feels like this intense battle that you're waging. And if you manage to like gain some level of success into your 40s and stuff, it starts to feel more like, yeah, I just got a job. I'm just grinding it out.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like if you own your own thing, like you or I, it feels a little bit more intense because you feel the ups and downs a bit more financially.
Yeah.
But, you know, at this point, I don't think I feel that different about what I'm doing content-wise or career-wise. Then I'm just sort of, you know, I'm just doing it. Just every week, I'm just making content, enjoying myself,
If you're your own boss and you don't have to be told when you can go on lunch break and what time you got to be back, you're winning.
But it's so easy to lose perspective of that, you know? Take it for granted once you've been doing that for 10, 20 years, you know?
If you need a reminder, go fill out an application.
You ever thought, has there ever been a point in your career where you were ever in a bad spot financially and felt like there might be a construction job ahead?
No, but I have felt like I've wanted to quit and get a regular job just because this business, what it does to your spirit and your soul and your mind, trying to navigate through this bullshit. But then I'm quickly reminded of how much money I make in a week versus what someone makes in a year.
Right.
And I snap out of that shit.
That's
why it's like, as much as I could complain, and I could complain, we all could complain, and I do complain sometimes. But then I have a weekend like I had in Houston, and I go, Jesus fucking Christ.
What happened in Houston?
Just saying, like, I tell jokes, 5 figures, a high-end 5 figures for one weekend.
Damn.
And I go, what job is going to be better than this? What regular job is going to be better than this? Chris Rock had a great quote. He said, the worst job in show business is better than the best job out of it. You know what I mean? So that's why, in perspective, you go, dude, whether it's a voiceover cartoon or stand-up on the road or a movie spot or a TV spot, the amount of money that you make and the effort that it takes to make it and the little time that it takes to get it, it's insane. It's like being in the drug game without the downfall of prison or death.
But do you feel like your fan base is bigger now than it was 10 or 20 years ago?
It's constantly growing.
It still feels like it's growing.
Yeah, because I think that there's and this is not me trying to pat myself on the back, but this is the reality of, again, the climate that we're in. There's a real thirst and a hunger for pure, for honest. And like I say, my comedy cocaine is uncut. It's not stepped on, it's strong. And because of all this political correctness and wokeness and people being overly sensitive and cancel culture, people want that. They want that real yayo, man. And I bring that real yayo.
Is there ever a time when you look at the up-and-coming comedians and feel like, oh, fuck, they're doing something that I can't do? They're doing shit in a way that I admire and respect.
Absolutely.
But it's like this will one day make me a dinosaur because I'm not going to be able to be in this exact lane or pocket.
Not a dinosaur, because that's the beauty of comedy too. It's you don't have to be in every lane to make your mark. There are certain guys that do one thing and do it well. I know Carrot Top might get a lot of shit, but what he does is he does well. He has a residency in Vegas,
right,
and has had one for some time. That motherfucker's rich. Jeff Dunham, he fucks with puppets. And if you let comedians tell it, not the most respectable thing, but it's still comedy. That motherfucker is loaded. So there are guys who, in terms of what kind of comic you are you a puppet guy? Are you a props guy? Are you blue? Are you political? Are you, whatever those lanes are? There are some guys that only do one thing well, and there are some guys that do it all well. I don't do puppets and I don't do props, but as far as everything else, with the exception of political humor, I pretty much can do all that shit. That's why I say, listen, I put it in football terms. You could be an award-winning Hall of Fame quarterback, championship quarterback, and just stay in the pocket, a la Tom Brady. And that's great. And I'm saying that to say there are guys who with nothing but material, their playbook, shit they wrote and thought up, can be great fucking and are considered great fucking respectable, iconic comedians. But if you can Michael Vick it and do crowd work, say fuck the material and go off the dome and have great material, you could play in the pocket and scramble. You're a bad motherfucker. Because a lot of material-based comedians can't do that. They're great with the material, but if they had to do crowd work and say fuck the material, they're deer in headlights.
Is there anything about the social media-ification of comedy that makes you sick or that you don't care for?
The fact that everybody can get into Studio 54 now. Before social media, everybody couldn't get into Studio 54. You had to have real talent. You know, and listen, even some of the guys on social media who may make some noise, a little bit of noise, it's like, okay, but the real thing is how long can you sustain the noise? Longevity. And in order to be able to do that, you have to have substance. Whereas, like, you know, now you come up with a viral video and it's almost like you're an instant fucking star and you're making all this money, but you don't really have substance. You just captured lightning in a bottle for a moment. And now the business has become oversaturated because of that. So it makes it harder to shine in a sense. But the guys who got the goods, the substance, they're going to always come through. It's like a rose in the concrete. You're going to always be able to come out.
Do you actually enjoy watching comedy on Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever?
Listen, man, some of that shit is funny. As I'm scrolling and getting caught up in the vortex, some of that shit I go, man, that's some funny shit. But there are more unfunny motherfuckers than there are funny people.
Do you find it, like, how would you describe your enjoyment level of watching some comedians at a club versus flipping through TikTok, which I would assume your TikTok algorithm probably feeds you a lot of comedy. Mine personally doesn't really.
You know, the comedy club is to me is the purest form that you can enjoy that. And listen, comedically, I don't like a lot of dudes. You know, I think Bill Burr is a fucking beast. Dave Chappelle is certainly the GOAT, the Richard Pryor of our generation. Before his passing, I think Patrice O'Neal was one of the deadliest motherfuckers to touch a mic. So guys like that, yeah, I could sit and watch all day. The shit on Instagram, you know, like I said, you know, you come across some funny shit, but most of it is bullshit. Most of it is people trying so hard to say something, you know, and it's like I don't know. I think it's dangerous when everybody can get the keys to the gun cabinet and a bottle of Jack Daniels to go with it.
I mean, it's there's like an exact parallel to the whole rap world where it's like rap music just used to feel so special because even if you were really tapped into it, there wasn't that much of it to get your hands on. There's just like only so many albums that were really like worth listening to or whatever, and you had to go out of your way and spend money to get it and stuff like that, versus now where it's just like there's just so much shit that it seems very hard for the fans to get excited about almost anything.
You know, I was I think was I in Houston or wherever I was, I just happened to catch this show on Netflix called Rhythm and Flow. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
The game show or
it's contested.
American Idol type thing.
Yeah, they're trying to find the next hottest
rapper and shit.
Yeah, and the 3 celebrity judges are Chance the Rapper, Cardi B, and T.I. And they started out in L.A., but they had Snoop represent the West Coast.
Right.
And then they go to each judge's respective regions, and they have other rappers from those regions as to replace the other 2 judges. So like in New York, it was Cardi B, Fat Joe, and Jadakiss. And in Atlanta, it was Quavo and Big Boy.
Right.
And I said the most disappointing thing to me about this, and this is why I think rap sucks now. Everybody had the same fucking flow, cadence, rhythm, and beat. Even New York did that. And that's where my heart sank. Because I went, New York. Like Jay-Z said, New York, home of the spitters. We home of the spitters. Rakim, fucking, you know, Nas, Biggie, Big L, Big Pun, Jadakiss. That's what we do. Right. Lyrics. And to have New Yorkers. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? And when you look at how special rap was in the 90s, which is considered the golden years, early 2000s, go to those same regions. West Coast, Snoop, Ice Cube, NWA, Too Short, E40, none of them rapped alike. They had their own style and flavor. East Coast, the niggas I just named, own style and flavor. Wu-Tang, EPMD, they didn't sound alike. Fucking even the South, Young Jeezy, Lil Wayne, Juvenile, Cash Money, the Ghetto Boys, they had their own style. Now everybody's and I'm just like, it's such garbage now.
I could show you some regional styles.
There's a few out
There's
there.
very like
J.
specific
Cole,
flows
Kendrick
in
Lamar,
a lot of different parts
Dave
of the
East.
country.
Yeah, but that, again, back in the 90s, exceptions to the rule, but, that wasn't the rule. The exceptions were never the rule.
Can I play you something? I want to get your opinion. Have you watched a lot of drill music?
I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
I want to show you this one kid because this to me is like the most extreme drill that I could imagine. This is like getting shot in the face with a machine gun.
Will I be able to hear it?
Yeah, you're going to hear it through the
All right,
headphones.
okay.
For the record, this is Use G's Dead Lokes.
You ain't got to play no more.
What do you think?
That feels like a booger I can't reach. The level of irritation.
What is it about it?
It's repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying with rhythm and flow. Everybody sounds like that. Are you fucking serious? When you look at the Midwest, Royce the 5'9", Common, Chance, Kanye, none of them sound alike.
But Chicago is who like originated this sound, even though they have a totally different take on it.
That's fine. But what are you saying? First of all, I couldn't even understand them.
That's probably the most problematic about it is that whole beginning part was him basically talking about all the dead gang enemies that he's smoking on.
He sounded like he swallowed the blunt he was smoking.
Yeah, he's got a voice.
Scorched his
reminds me
lungs.
of like Cannibal Corpse. You remember like death metal and shit? No.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, dude. Nas had a song called Rewind. I don't know if you're familiar.
I am familiar.
He rapped backwards. And it made
old head hip hop dudes always bring up that song for the record.
No, but here's why you got
I respect it, and you're right.
But here's why you have to respect it.
Okay.
You know how hard it is to rap forward? He rapped backward. And it
Right.
all made sense. It all flowed. The story tracked. Come on, man. That's remarkable.
No, that was good.
One of my favorite songs by Biggie, Niggas Bleed. When you listen to him tell this story, he paints such a vivid picture. Then you hear the melody as the song plays. It felt like you were watching a scene out of a Scorsese movie. That's artistry. Auto-tune. There's no artistry in that. None.
Yeah, I mean, they keep it to some pretty strict parameters for a lot of these rappers these days.
Oh, garbage.
So is there anything new that you like?
Dude, listen, I'm 48, so I don't really delve into hip-hop like I used to because I think that's a young person's game. So if I listen to anything, I'm keeping it my era.
Right.
But like I said, as far as this new era, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Dave East.
You know Benny the Butcher?
No, but I've heard people talk about him.
Oh, you'd love
Lucas Joyner.
Joyner Lucas, you motherfucker.
Oh, see, that's how, exactly. I'm out of touch. My jersey's in the rafters.
I almost let it go, too. I almost forgot. I almost didn't notice.
That's what I'm saying, man. So, yeah, there's a few that I hear. But for the most part, man, I come from that era where we was beasts, So, how do you go from lobster to fish sticks? I mean?
All right, I feel you. I personally like it, but I do.
You know what I like about you?
It has some limitations.
You know what I like about you? And I finally said
So I let a guy fuck my wife?
No, I'd like that. I'd like it if you let me fuck your wife. I'd like that about you. I do Vlad a lot, and I got nothing but love for Vlad. And I even called him out on this. And
Much love for
people
Vlad.
love the fact that I called him out on that. But you don't talk over your guests, and you let your guests, like a good host, put their feet up on your coffee table.
Well, especially when I'm dealing with someone like you who's liable to jump into a bit at any given moment. And sometimes I realize, like, oh, he's said this before. He's got a little bit of material saved up here.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a bit. It's just, certain things when situations present themselves,
Right.
If you act accordingly, it lends to what we're doing.
But I feel like interrupting too much is like the main thing holding back the average person from being like truly good at podcasting. Like you have to be willing to let the other people get their ideas out and really take turns communicating rather than kind of talking over each other.
Here's what I wanted to ask you, because people say that, and I guess, they associate this with narcissism, but like Vlad likes to hear himself talk. That's why he cuts everybody off and he does most of the talking. What do they say about you, though?
They say I hype up like gang type beef type stuff too much. I'll interview one guy, ask him about someone who he has beef with, and then interview the other guy a month later and ask him about the other person. And You know, I get shit for that. I get a lot of shit. Rolling Stone decided to write hit pieces about me because I fucking had the nerve to do like a debate between like a very, very liberal political streamer named Destiny and then a former white supremacist, Richard Spencer. I got annihilated. They wrote multiple hit pieces about me. I'm lucky I'm still here. But they went so hard trying to destroy me on the basis of me doing this debate.
But is that a classic case of no such thing as bad press?
I think it could have easily been bad, but through sheer determination, I made it through the fire.
I don't want to be tacky, but I wanted to take 2 opportunities to do this. So if I may take one now and then one towards the end of the podcast. Make sure y'all check out my podcast, Spears and Steinberg. Available on all streaming platforms. Hit me up on Instagram under my DM, Aries Spears. Start from the beginning. I know there's a lot of episodes, but you got to start from the beginning. It lends itself comedically to jokes, callbacks, characters, and also my YouTube channel, Spearsberg Pod. Hit subscribe. Thank you.
How many episodes in are you?
Like 480 something.
Start at the beginning.
No, but listen, we like masturbation and potato chips. Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
You can't just eat one chip.
But any podcast I've ever started listening to, I pretty much start on the most recent episode.
Listen, I know that sounds like a tall order, but when I've suggested that on my podcast and people have done it, they go, we love that. Because I do characters, a lot of callbacks, a lot of jokes, where if you listen to it out of sequence, certain things might not click comedically. You won't know certain references. When I do certain characters, if you don't know the origin, you might feel lost. But if I feel like this, if it's good enough, how's that any different from when you buy whatever your season DVD favorite show is or stream it? I just gave away my age, DVD.
Right.
But stream it and you binge watch.
My thing, I envy the fans so much because they have so much more time than me to just consume content, a lot of them, you know?
Right.
When you realize that, like, oh, somebody drives Postmates or they're a truck driver or whatever. And that's like when because a lot of people I think who listen to insane amounts of podcasts and have like really deep nuanced takes on Reddit or doing YouTube video essays or whatever. I think a lot of them have like jobs that sort of allow them to listen to a shitload of podcasts. And for me, it's like I have to be very choosy about what I'm going to actually take time to listen to because I just don't have as much time as I wish I could.
But you're a creator of content, so that hits a little different for you.
Yeah, but I'm a fan too, and I really want to be able to put in hours of listening to people, at least because the more I listen to somebody, the more I start to develop like a critique of them, or I feel like I can actually learn from them. A lot of times I'll listen to a Joe Rogan interview with somebody, and for the first half hour, I'll think that the guest is great, and by the end of the 3 hours, I have a whole like essay written in my head about why I don't like this guy and how I think he could be better as a podcaster.
Listen, who's to say that Joe's formula is wrong? He's $100 million guy,
right? Because
of it. But
Joe, I have to respect.
But 3 hours though, I just think there's a such thing as too much.
Yeah,
and like that classic Hollywood saying, leave them wanting more. Why do you need 3 hours of something?
And he'll do 3 hours a couple times a week. I feel like I want to go.
Well, maybe that's why you got 100 mil.
An hour to 2 hours.
Right.
As soon as I get to 3 hours. But I have interviewed people where it's like I needed to do 3 or 4 hours in order to cover all the shit that I wanted to cover. Especially when you're doing somebody's life the whole way through and there's like a bunch of different chapters and shit and you're trying to tell the whole story.
Right.
But, man, what about like an 8-hour podcast? A couple pee breaks. Maybe a lunch break.
That would surely depend on the guest. If they're that fascinating and interesting,
right?
That they can consume you for 8 hours,
right?
But goddamn, who's that brilliant?
I don't know.
Like even Dave Chappelle, who I think held the record, and prior to him, I think it was Dane Cook, on the most hours put in on stage at a comedy club.
Right.
And as much as I love me some Dave, and I think Dave is the GOAT,
right?
8 hours, goddamn.
No, yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough to make it through that. Have you ever listened to King Von?
No.
I'm gonna play you, and I'm gonna get some opinions from you here. Hopefully. What do you think?
I'll tip my hat to the
storytelling,
to the effort of
Right?
storytelling.
Yeah.
But dude, between the dudes named Lil and this shit, I can't.
This guy's like the most influential drill street rapper.
Yeah, listen, and this is why I guess we get called old heads and dinosaurs.
You can't put him next to Jadakiss?
Hell no. Get your fucking mind.
I could easily have them both on the same playlist. Same playlist, man.
Bar for bar? No.
Oh, I wish we lived to see that. That would have been beautiful.
That would have been a massacre.
I would have loved it.
Jadakiss is one of the, I would say, top 3 in lyrical ability.
I'm not denying that. But I still think Vaughn could do his thing.
I don't think that there's anybody other than maybe J. Cole and Dave East that you could put in a top 10 over 90s, 2000 rappers.
I mean, it depends on what you're prioritizing. What about somebody like Logic?
Logic.
He's an extremely technical rapper. I mean, like a little white kid. Well, actually, he's half black. I got to give it to him. He's going to get mad at me if I don't say that.
Metaphors, punchlines, lyrical ability, just storytelling. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I need to play you Kendrick Lamar and Fredo Santana.
Listen, I respect Kendrick Lamar.
But that song will show you how you can have a super technical rapper like Kendrick along with a drill rapper, Fredo Santana. Now, granted, this is like 10 years ago that the song came out. Rest in peace, Fredo. But it could be done.
Can you reel off quickly your top 10 MCs?
Nah.
Why not?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
It's just
in terms of ability.
It's just a weird
Biggie, Jay-Z, Nas, Jadakiss, Eminem, Rakim, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Big L, and Big Pun.
I guess I don't really like to think about rap in that way.
I could hear people, them all East Coast niggas.
Well, yeah, you like what you like.
No, I like who brings the pain.
Lifetime top 5.
Lyrically.
Jay, Nas, Cam, 50, Young Thug.
Cameron?
Cameron,
right. You know.
Cameron.
Don't
call him Cameron.
Sound like a white person from the suburbs.
Exactly.
When they say Tupac. Okay.
I guess Tupac is like, kind of feel like I feel like I want to put somebody more current, and so Young Thug to me is like
people will get mad at me for not putting Tupac, but what I say about this, Pac to me was more about impact and energy.
If I'm going top 10, I feel like I gotta make room for Drake.
You right now you got me feeling like a parent in court who just found out their child was a serial killer. I still love you and you're my child.
Drake has had the most dominant run in hip hop of all time, and it is still ongoing.
It's easy to have a dominant run in today's era.
It's not, but why does nobody else have one?
Oh, Drake. That's like a sex with a blow-up doll.
Why? What's wrong with
There's
Drake?
nothing better than a real woman.
He is a real person. He's a human being.
But he's
Canadian. What?
That listen, that little bit.
It doesn't seem like he's ever shot somebody. Is that kind of
no? It ain't got nothing to do with that.
You?
No, because all these dudes today with the posing with the guns and shit.
Oh,
I think
these guys have shot somebody. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you that about King Von.
Yeah.
There's a documentary you should watch on YouTube.
And now it feel like these dudes are hustling backwards.
He allegedly has like 7 or 8 confirmed bodies.
The goal was to get out of the hood.
Will you watch a 3-hour documentary about him and the people that he allegedly killed and bragged about on social media?
No, because that to me has more of has Vine legs.
Yeah, it'll fuck your night up.
Yeah, dude.
You're probably gonna enjoy
The goal was to stay out of the cuffs, not get in them. And it's like today, these dudes aspire to go to jail. Aspire to stay in the hood.
But they're definitely not doing a lot to avoid it.
And where's the intelligence in that?
No, yeah, nobody's trying to make that argument.
For as incredibly talented as my era was, they were also intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. No, I feel you. It's like now you have to act ignorant as fuck until you get on, and then you can try to clean it up and start to have a decent image or care about your freedom and stuff. But it's like before you make it, you have to be this caricature of a rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. Okay. You know, there's one question that I noticed that Vlad avoids asking you, but you didn't tell me not to ask it, so I technically could ask it.
Don't ask it. Because I already know what you're going to ask.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah, don't ask it.
But look, I haven't even said it, so we can talk about it without saying it.
No, we can't, because
You're forbidden.
yes.
Your counsel has told you not to talk
Absolutely.
about it. Right.
Absolutely.
Are things good? Are things bad? Is this a source of stress in your life?
If you can get through the storm, you'll be all right.
Right.
They say whatever don't kill you makes you stronger.
But you have been mischaracterized.
I feel like my whole career I've been mischaracterized. Not because of an incident.
Right.
You know? Listen, again, we live in an era where opinion is often called hate. You know, if you go against the grain, if you go against what's popular, people say you're a hater. You're bitter. It's like, no, I have an opinion. And sometimes my opinion doesn't go with the flow.
But in this case, it's not really an opinion so much as like a willingness to do comedy that was very edgy and talked about uncomfortable things and created uncomfortable situations.
You Fred Astaire in your way to it.
Well, I'm just saying, that to me is the most bothersome part about that situation is that...
We'll leave it there.
Right.
Yeah.
I was right there.
You almost was there.
That's some good clickbait.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You think you'll ever be in a place to talk about it, or?
I hope so.
I want to know what it was like that day on set, shooting your little skit, having a good old time in the early days of the internet.
Next topic of conversation.
Okay, I got you. Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Anti-Semite? Question mark?
I don't even know about this. I heard it.
You don't know about
What
that?
did he say?
I should quote it verbatim, so let's get it pulled up. Oh, okay. I found it. So Jamie Foxx posted on his Instagram, "They killed this dude named Jesus. What do you think they'll do to you? Hashtag fake friends. Hashtag fake love." This was viewed as being an anti-Semitic statement, even though I feel like I understand the context in which he was saying this, and that it clearly was not an anti-Semitic thing. When the they in this sentence is haters, people that don't want to see you do well, right? Even though the Jews did kill Jesus in the book. That he's talking about.
One of the things in terms of my growth is knowing when to not touch certain things. And in a business that is run by some very powerful people, I'm gonna leave that alone, man. I'm gonna leave that alone.
You're not gonna ride for Jamie?
Is Jamie gonna ride for me and pay my mortgage?
Certainly not.
Okay.
But I'm assuming that you are trying to avoid saying that you think that he wasn't trying to be anti-Semitic.
I'm just happy Jamie is recovering. And things are going well, and he's looking good.
Wow, really? So
Yeah.
you have a controversial take on this that you don't want to reveal.
It's not even that I have a take. It's just, know the room. Be familiar with the room.
You make money with a lot of Israelites.
No, I don't. As a matter of fact,
But you would like to in the future.
to be honest with you, maybe I could hear their message if they stop yelling into them bad megaphones and don't wear them Pirates of the Caribbean costumes. But nonetheless, yeah, that's you know what I mean?
Damn, I really found a topic that
Aries
Spears didn't want to touch.
No, I'm not trying to let you down, but you got to know who you're playing with. You know what I mean? And, like they say, don't shit where you eat.
I feel like somebody as experienced as you would be able to state his opinion on this without...
Even the most experienced motherfuckers take a L.
Really?
Yeah.
So you must be in a very different position than me because I feel like I don't know what I could say about this that would actually upset people. I've already been so widely smeared as a racist and a terrible guy. It must be nice to have some semblance of a reputation.
Hey, depending on who's telling the story, I don't even have that. So, just gotta, try to navigate a little different sometimes.
Okay. Respect, for sure. I feel like I need to open the door here for you to give me more shit about the guy fucking my wife.
No, brother, I just, that's just some shit I would never do.
I figured you would have more ammo stored up.
No, but what did it do for you?
As porn stars, it was very significant business-wise.
Did it turn you? Oh, so it was strictly a money thing.
It was, and then, we kind of leaned into it, and we watched it together a few times. And
now, here's what I want to know. in all honesty, you weren't concerned that maybe, because of what he was working with, how he did it, that her reaction was such that, maybe when you're not knowing, she's off to the side, seeing him somewhere or fucking with him?
She's the most trustworthy person I've ever met in my entire life. I have zero concern about her fucking around on me. And if I wasn't in that kind of relationship...
You put your life on that?
Oh, yeah. I put a baby in her.
That don't mean nothing. Women pop out babies all the time.
For me, it meant a lot.
Women pop out babies and take their dudes to divorce court and ruin them.
You're right. The average person is not as selective. But for me, when I made a kid with her, that was like a lifetime choice of like, okay, I'm going to fuck with you and be on good terms with you forever, regardless of if we stay together or not, which we are planning on. When I had a kid with her, to me, that was like the ultimate,
right?
All right, I trust you 100% moment.
Right.
Even more than the wedding. Wedding is just a ceremony.
Well, that's for her.
But as soon as we have a kid together, it's like, okay, I'm saying that I'm fucking with you forever.
That's a nice idea.
I know it doesn't always work out that way, but
yeah.
How many kids you got floating around?
3.
3 baby mamas?
No, 2 baby mamas, 3 kids.
Okay.
Yeah. But, women can be pretty treacherous. And sometimes they use the kid as the weapon.
And I am looking forward to that arc in my life.
I'm a quote Bill
he
Burr.
tries to use the kid against
I'm
me.
a quote comedian Bill Burr said something that was brilliantly genius and funny.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm still trying to figure out why it costs $40,000 a month for a kid to eat Fruit Loops." So there's that as far as the kid goes.
Well, we are feeding the kid filet mignon.
That's nice.
She's eating paleo.
Okay.
Not actually, but
all right.
She's eating good.
I got you.
You want to know how fucked up the rap game is now? I'm just gonna tell you about something.
Yeah.
So there's a drill rapper from Chicago named Lil Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Fans, it was often rumored that he was a little light in the loafers, that he was banging men, basically. The fans submitted freedom of information requests, if I'm not mistaken, and were able to get videos from the prison that he's in delivered to them in their email. And when you watch these videos, you get to see him with a trans person, or not a trans person, but, a dude, a punk, if you will, sitting on his lap. Now, he's come out and denied that that's him in those videos.
Right.
A local YouTube channel in Chicago by the name of DJ U did an interview with his former trans woman girlfriend who revealed all about her relationship with him.
Right.
I'm saying that's how real it gets out here.
Yeah, it's gotten real like that for some celebs in the rap game, even in my time.
But the leaking of prison footage, did you ever think we would see such technology?
Well, again, my generation did their best to stay out the prison.
Mm.
So whatever dirt they did with whomever they did it with wasn't circulating. I'm telling you, these new kids goofy, man. It's a goofy era.
It's a gay era. We're very open-minded.
Pick a G.
Pick a G?
Goofy, gay, whatever.
Gargantuan.
That would be the man that fucked your woman.
Yeah, he was a gargantuan man. You want to go back and forth with G words?
He was a goofy gargantuan man.
Ah, man. I feel like
your girl got kayak dick by a full Special Olympics kid.
Yeah, that's true. Wait,
grown ass.
I don't want to sign on for that. I feel like after all the shit that Jason Luv has taken in this whole thing, that it might be Aries Spears criticizing his intelligence that really, that's gotta, your intelligence, bro. I don't want to ride along you saying that.
I'm not critiquing necessarily his intelligence. I'm just saying, man, he had a little bit of a goofiness to him, you know?
You think you lost that over the years? You got to be goofy. You're a comic.
No, you ain't got to be goofy. That's when people go, well, you the class clown? I don't like the term class clown. A clown will do anything for a laugh. I'm specific.
Mm.
I ain't slipping over no banana peels for no yucks.
Mm.
You know?
I like it when you talk gangster to me.
Hey, man.
I ain't slipping over no banana peels for no yucks.
Hey, man. I'm glad you think that's gangster.
I'm going to get that tattooed on me. Yeah. Want some space. All right, Aries Spears, I appreciate you, man.
It's all love, brother.
Anything else you want? Yeah, hit them with
Spears
it.
and Steinberg podcast available on all streaming platforms. Hit me up on Instagram under Aries Spears. My YouTube channel, Spearsburg Pod. Hit subscribe.
And hit the like button, motherfuckers.
That too, God damn it.
God damn it. Appreciate you, dog.
Thank you, brother. Oh, man. Yes, sir.